what's up guys? Rob here. You are of course on Rule to Review, and welcome to what is probably going to be potentially my last video before my big move out of state from Denver to Portland. Still here just in my living room, no gameplay footage to show, no typical news format. No typical vlog background, as you've seen in the last two videos as well. So I'm winding down, my house is mostly packed up and I'm ready to go. But of course there's still, always some news to talk about, which is really exciting, and I don't want to miss any opportunity to make some sort of content and video for you guys and discuss some really interesting gaming news as it happens. Now, this piece of news is a couple of days old, and I'm late to the party simply because I've been so busy with everything I'm preparing for. But I found it pretty interesting, even though it wasn't necessarily surprising. What I'm, of course, talking about is that recently it was announced by Respawn Entertainment that Titanfall 2, or the sequel to Titanfall, which is what they're referring to it as, will be going multi-platform. And I know I've now air-quoted 3 times, sorry guys. But it's going multi-platform. And of course, part of the reason I actually air-quote multi-platform is it's a little bit ironic in the sense that technically the first Titanfall was still multi-platform. It was released on the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, and the PC. That is 3 different platforms. That is effectively actually multi-platform. But of course, we know that what they're really getting at with this statement about Titanfall 2, the sequel to Titanfall, is that it's also going to become available on PlayStation consoles. Now, I would have to think that Titanfall 2 will probably not be coming to last-gen consoles. It just seems like at this point, it's going to come out at a time, probably 2016 or 17. I mean, there's going to be no reason to think that anyone will be releasing games on the 360 or PS3, let alone Titanfall 2, which we know will want to push forward what the next generation is capable of far more than what even the first game was trying to do, especially when you look at that first game releasing only a couple of months into the lifespan of the Xbox One. So, that kind of, sort of, in a weird way, made sense a little bit to come out for the Xbox 360 as well. But at this point, a couple years into the new generation, by the time Titanfall 2 comes out, no reason to think we'll get a 360 and PS3 version. But hey, who knows? You never know. Maybe they will. Regardless, okay, so Titanfall was console exclusive to Microsoft, not releasing on Sony or Nintendo's platforms. But it was still multi-platform because there was, of course, a PC version. Obviously, they're going to release the PC version again. We know there's going to be an Xbox One version. This basically confirms there's going to be a PlayStation 4 version. Would they possibly be awesome enough to release a Wii U version? Doubtful. I just can't imagine any world where this would actually come out on Nintendo's console, because the entire video game industry seems to have its head up its ass when it comes to understanding what makes every console and manufacturer, including Nintendo, great and worthwhile when it comes to making content on that system. It does stand to reason, if you want to imagine that maybe Titanfall 2 was to come out and maybe be rated T instead of M for mature. Maybe it comes out as T for teen. And the recent conversations, myself and a lot of other people on the internet and Nintendo fans have been having lately about this mystery Tantalus port that they said is going to be a very high-profile AAA release, and they're porting some other game to the Wii U soon, and whether or not it's an old game or a new game, no one knows. Hey, wouldn't it be crazy if Titanfall 2 was T for teen, because they did say that that game wasn't mature, if it was T for teen and it turned out to be the game that Tantalus was working on for the Wii U? That is almost not even close to a possibility, but it's interesting to think about. So I'm just saying that, I'm just throwing that nugget of information out there for you guys to think about. I really don't think that's going to happen. I mean, Titanfall 2, there's no way EA and Respawn are smart enough or creative enough to release that game on the Wii U. So that's okay. I still want to play the game. I regrettably have yet to play the first one, and I was very excited for it. I think it looks awesome. I love shooters like that. I have no problem admitting it. It's one of my guilty pleasure kind of genres, is that kind of frenetic, fast-paced, futuristic, gorgeous-looking shooter. I love that stuff. So I would like to play it. I have yet to. Titanfall 2, I'm sure it's going to be that much better. I hope that they include more of a traditional campaign and single-player component, because I know that what they did on the first game is they kind of made this weird sort of hybrid where they included single-player content or missions or things to do and see in the multiplayer experience. Because the game is only online, only multiplayer. I know that about the first Titanfall, but they had like sort of a pseudo campaign thing going on. I would like it if they just did what most other shooters do. You don't have to break the mold in this respect. Make the gameplay revolutionary, but the structure can be completely normal. Make a really killer single-player campaign. Make their and co-op even, like what Halo does or Call of Duty. Like, don't forget, I don't think there's anything wrong with borrowing from those models, because I would like a game like that to have an amazing single-player component. That would be so cool. I want a story to play for 8 to 10 to 12 hours just by myself or with some buddies. and then I want to experience the multiplayer. That's how I go through Call of Duty. It's how I go through Halo. And so it would be nice if they do that stuff. Who really knows? There's been a couple of quotes, and of course I didn't think to pull them up. But I know that one of the fellows, it might have been the Zampella fellow, who is of Respawn, who left Infinity Ward back when that whole, kind of controversy happened. He did say something about how they included single-player stuff, but most people were just running by it because there's so much happening in the multiplayer world around you. So that kind of, to me, made it sound a little bit like they've noticed and are considering that there might be, a real benefit and a real desire, a market out there for gamers who want to play real single-player stuff. Maybe they feel like they missed the boat, not creating a traditional single-player campaign, and they tried to, merge it with the online multiplayer stuff, not to apparently not to very successful success. So, it's interesting to think about. Long story short, I thought that this was pretty interesting news. People kind of knew to expect that, the contract that EA had with Microsoft, thinking the Xbox One was going to be the unstoppable force right out of the box, was to make Titanfall exclusive because they thought that was going to be a win for everybody. The Xbox One started very slowly, a lot of controversy. PlayStation 4 has been owning it for a long time. Xbox One is now making ground, and they've done some great things, and I now have an Xbox One, as you've heard me say, and I actually really, really like it. So now we know that they've learned that EA probably missed the boat and should have made it multi-platform from the get-go, even though I like the idea of it being exclusive. I think exclusives are always better than multi-platform, but what are you going to do? So, they obviously want to bring Titanfall 2 to as many gamers as possible, so they're going to bring it to the PlayStation platforms as well. And as much as I would like to see it be just another solid, quality AAA exclusive in the industry, I don't care if you're talking about Uncharted or Halo or God of War or Zelda or Metroid, exclusive series, period, I think are wonderful things. I don't care what platform they're on. So it'd be nice if this stayed at least exclusive on the console side to Microsoft, but it's not going to. And I'll say one last time, if they really wanted to reach as many gamers as possible, they should release it on the Wii U. Take advantage of what you could do with that controller. It'd be nice if Respawn and EA were motivated to say, wow, yeah, we can make this version on the PC and on the console, on the Xbox and PlayStation consoles, but Nintendo's console also gives us this awesome controller. With our crazy futuristic shooter, we could probably do some amazing things with that. Be creative, use your imaginations and your minds. Don't get so hung up on just the power of the graphics. Make the user interface awesome. Do something cool there, but whatever. I'm beating a dead horse. We know they won't. Even though I own a great gaming PC and all 3 current-gen consoles, the Wii U is what I'd prefer to play any multi-platform on, for the most part. But we know they're not going to do that. So I don't want my fanship of Nintendo and the Wii U to get in the way of my excitement for the game. I think the game will probably be great. I will still be planning on going back to play the first. This was kind of a bold move. A lot of people have been talking about the fact that this was announced as now coming to Sony's platforms. That's not how they're wording it. Again, they're wording it that it's multi-platform, even though that's not the best way for them to be describing it. It's not really accurate, because it already was. Like I said at the beginning of the video, they're basically saying it's coming to the PlayStation as well. And although I think it's too bad that we're losing an industry AAA exclusive to any console manufacturer, at the end of the day, the business decision, I think, is smart. They will reach more gamers releasing on the PlayStation, and they will make more money. And to be fair, at the end of the day, that's what they're in the industry to do. So, it's a casualty of exclusives, but I think it's going to be a benefit to the game and the series, and hopefully have it see more success, and I hope it's as great as it could and should be. So really, those are just kind of my thoughts, I wanted to play Titanfall, never did. Excited to play Titanfall 2. I feel like, unless I hear the Xbox One version is an unmitigated disaster, and if the miracle of miracles doesn't happen where it would release on the Wii U, I feel like the Xbox One is where I would like to play Titanfall 2, because I'm going to think of it as a Microsoft exclusive kind of series based on the fact that the first game was released only on Microsoft consoles. So that's kind of what I would probably plan on doing, unless I hear that it sucks on Xbox One and it's significantly better on PlayStation 4, since I have access to all of them. So that's it. I'm excited. What do you guys think about this news? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you think it's not? I'm sure most of us all saw it coming, so I'm sure no one was really surprised, but it's interesting now that we got the confirmation. So what do you guys think? You've heard what I think. I can't wait to play it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with my weird and, transitional move, random background, no good microphone sound kind of video quality. I really appreciate your guys' support and follow through. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Please feel free to subscribe, rate, and comment, and I'll catch you guys next time, sometime and somewhere on another video for Rules to Review.